Zombieland Double Tap. This movie is directed by Ruben Fleischer, who also did the original Zombieland. So this was actually his first film from 2009, the much received and cult favorite Zombieland that we all know and love. Okay, I wanted to make this a spoiler review, but I want to give you guys only key points that are really important to this movie if you go see this. If you haven't seen this movie, alright, let me get down to it right now. Okay, Zombieland starts off where it's been 10 years since our favorite zombie killers have been killing off zombies, and they're really good at it. And so they shack up at the what now remains of a dead White House, and it becomes apparently clear that this is like the next logical step in these characters, if you will, if that's what you want to really call it, because so Columbus proposes to Wichita, and she believes that marriages don't work, and it'll never work, and they'll end up getting divorced. That's what happens when two people become married. She gets cold feet, so she decides to leave with Little Rock, because Little Rock has become, she's an adult now. She's not a little girl anymore. That 12-year-old girl we know from the original film. So she's kind of like jaded and just really tired, because Tallahassee's kind of more like a father figure to her now. And he treats her just like a little girl, just like any father would treat his daughter, And he loves her. He loves his daughter. And she's like a daughter to him. And they're supposed to be a family. Okay, one of the things that I think this movie, before I say anything else, I think this movie was good. I think it has all the key elements, all the fun that we loved about the original Zombieland. It has all the stylistic representations of the original film. It has the tone, and even a lot of the actors brought back their E-game in here, and it's a good movie. But overall, I kind of think that Zombieland went off the rails a little bit with storylines and story arcs that really held no weight for the overall movie, and it just felt kind of forced to me, because Little Rock decides to go off on her own. She goes to this place called Babylon, where she meets this guy named Berkeley, and he's a pacifist, and he's a wannabe Bob Dylan. So she falls in love with him, and she just wants to go out on her own, just like any rebellious teenager in Wichita goes off on her own. She decides, and she comes back to search for ammo, because Little Rock goes off on her own, and she comes back, and they end up, and our favorite zombie killers end up in Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee. So that where they meet other post-apocalyptic characters like Rocio Dawson, who also did such movies as Men in Black and The Rundown. She joins the cast as Nevada, and also on their way to they meet Madison. I think her name is Zoe Deutsch. She plays kind of like a ditzy Valley Girl type, like so ditzy. She's kind of like a Valley Girl type, and she acts just like every single California girl that I've ever met. Oh my god! So she's kind of like a ditzy, and she's kind of the weak part of the movie for me, because she plays it to a certain level where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, that's funny, but it's not exactly it's not like I'm laughing out loud. I don't have laugh out loud moments. So she's kind of a weak character on here, and she found little or nothing to do on this movie. And they also meet two doppelgangers, played by Luke Wilson as well as Thomas Middleditch. So they're welcome additions, but you can't really get into their characters, because they're not really on the screen for too long. and they're the exact the extensions of Tallahassee and Columbus down to the voices and the style and everything with the cowboy hat. And yeah, it's funny and 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 so I kind of thought that Nevada was actually a character you could get behind. She was actually the strong part of as far as the new cast is concerned. So they're going against these new super zombies known as T-800s, and they're faster and stronger and more vicious than the usual zombies on here. And they have different names for them now, besides the Zombieland rules and regulations. They have the homers, they have the Hawkins who are really stupid, they're really slow, and then also they have the ninjas and the T-800s who are actually the ninjas are kind of sneaky and they hunt like like a wolf or a cougar hunt or a tiger, a lion hunt in the prairie to catch their prey, and the T-800s are really fast. So they're kind of there's so they kind of resemble a lot the ones from World War Z. So they're very fast, and so they end up in this place called Babylon, where no guns or any type of aggression or hatred is allowed. It's like a bunch of hippies, and a bunch of hippies that smoke pot all the time and just sing songs and stuff. And I kind of thought this was actually also, for me, it was unnecessary. It was an unnecessary thing, and I don't think this movie could have did without it. But then again, they have to go in new directions and there has to be new things explored. And I just kind of found it useless. It's really useless to me because this is where this movie kind of falls off the rails for me. It kind of makes a couple of mistakes. To begin with, Zombieland is a bunch of complete strangers that find that they have no other way to survive the zombie apocalypse than to become a family and to depend on each other to survive this horrifying new world that they live in, and they have to come to terms with that and find a middle ground and become that family that they all so desperately need because everybody that they know has died or become a zombie or something like that. And that's one of the biggest mistakes this movie does for me. But outside of that, it's a really fun movie. It's a great time, and everything that you love about Zombieland, that I loved about Zombieland, is here. I mean, and Tallahassee, Woody Harrelson is awesome. Emma Stone she's alright. She kind of with Emma Stone kind of felt a little bit forced for me in a way, like she was just kind of doing a little. She was just a little. Collecting. It felt like she kind of felt a little bit weak for me. She was just thinking about a paycheck, and she doesn't feel like that same person that you can't that's cunning and will do anything to survive and protect her sister. She kind of felt a little bit, I don't know, just out of sync for me. Columbus, Jesse Eisenberg. I mean, what can I say about Jesse Eisenberg? He's basically the same character he was in Zombieland, the original one. It's been 10 years, so it really still holds up pretty well for me. And I definitely buy this movie on Blu-ray or DVD, and I might actually go see it again. But for me, it's just not. Do I think this Zombieland double tap is it as good as the first one? No, I do not think. I don't think so. It's not. I'm not saying so. Just because I'm saying doesn't mean I think you guys should not go see it. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go see it. I mean, it's a good Halloween movie. It's not like we all celebrate Halloween for anything other reason, just to go have fun or whatever. Put the children to go trick or treating. No, it's to have a great time, and this is a perfect Halloween movie. If you want to go, take your family or whatever, your girlfriend or your wife or your children, or to go see this. And I'm gonna give Zombie Land Double Tap this rating. All right, I'm gonna give this movie a nice job rating because, end of the day, this movie is it's good enough to watch again, but it's not as good as the first one for me. So it definitely kind of violates that cardinal rule of them being family until the very end of the movie when they realize when Tallahassee has to save everybody. Oh, and I also want to talk about just a couple things that I wanted to that I thought were just I wanted to talk about this a couple spoilers. But I really want you guys to watch this movie because it is worth your time, but it's just not that good. Okay, Madison, the ditzy girl, there's a scene where it looks like she's been infected by a zombie when they're fighting, and she gets some kind of it's actually an allergic reaction. So it looks like Columbus has to shoot her in the head or in the face, and they don't actually show him shooting her. So she shows up out of absolutely nowhere with an ice cream truck because she had been living inside of a refrigerator or a freezer for a long time. So just just because she has no brains, she has no idea what's really going on around her. So, she's your typical blonde. So I thought that was kind of weird. At the same time, I was like, what the heck? Where did she come from? I thought she was dead. So she got allergic to some kind of trail mix. I was watching the movie the other day, and it really does look like she was going to become a zombie. But she started vomiting. I don't know if you guys remember it when Columbus says it's mad cow disease, where you get this really bad cough, bad cold, and you start vomiting, and you become a zombie. But it was actually she was just an allergic reaction. And there's a couple scenes where you feel like they're gonna die when the T-800s attack Babylon, and it is made known that Tallahassee has a Native American descent, and he talks about this buffalo run where the person has to avoid the buffaloes and they tumble off this cliff. And later on, when he tries to leave the group because he wants to go out on his own again, and he comes back to save everybody because I mean, I'm not saying that everybody's not good on Zombieland, but he's the really the character that stands out the most for us, and he comes back and is able to save Babylon by causing all the zombies to tumble down into their death off this big tower. So at the end of the movie, they ride off into the sunset in this pink Cadillac, and I also want to talk about probably one of the best scenes in this movie. Okay, Bill Murray. I was wondering, is Bill Murray going to come on this movie as a zombie, maybe already zombified, or what were they going to do with this? So we get a nice end credit scene where it's probably the beginning of the zombie apocalypse, and he's being interviewed for this fictional third sequel to Garfield, the Flabby Tabby, and during the interview, the person interviewed becomes a zombie, and of course, a bunch of zombies start attacking the TV station where he's at or the interview, and then he starts reciting all these different lines from from all his movies, including Caddyshack, Ghostbusters, and of course Garfield. I hate Mondays, or oh, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. So okay, that was a really bittersweet because I was wondering, was he going to come back and do this? Because Bill Murray is the man for me. A lot of us, right? I love Bill Murray. Okay, all right. Tell me what you guys think below. The reason I didn't say a lot of spoilers is I want you guys to go see this movie. It is worth your time. It's just not as good as the first one, and it kind of eliminates the family dynamic that made Zombieland such a cohesive story, and it's convoluted for me. I don't know what you guys thought about it. If you guys have already seen it, all right. I am the YouTube alternative, and I am still your reviewer. And don't forget to comment and subscribe with this video. Tell me what you think about what I just talked about, Zombieland. If you guys have you guys seen it, or have you guys already seen it? Let me know what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. I shared with what I didn't like about it, what I did like about it. Because I said Nevada was a strong character, and the family, the end part with Bill Murray, and that they realized that there is no other home but the road for them because they are a family. They are a unit of zombie killers, and awesome at that. Okay, Zombieland, the Double Tap is an awesome movie nonetheless. All right, and I will see you guys soon.